This hour.
Immigration link.
And I repeat.
Immigration link.
Right now. Wake up. Entertainment. Certified number one.
Immigration squeeze. Man, them wanna run things. So you want to go to thing? The immigration link up on the real thing, man.
Now that's what's up.
That's what's up, Bernstein. The man himself, Brad Bernstein.
That is what is up.
What's up, Brad?
What's up? What's happening?
Hey, everything is happening. I'm back in Jamaica.
I know that because you told me last night around 6 o'clock that you are getting on an airplane.
Yeah, called
Yes.
the red eye. You know,
And you have red eyes
Uber
now.
tonight.
There's a
Gotta
reason.
Go to Uber tonight.
There's a reason why they call it the red eye, right?
Yeah, it literally gives you.
It
one.
literally gives you the red eye.
That's.
I mean, when
definitely
they
true.
say you're catching the red eye, you're catching it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, listen, man. Today's the day that we're not going to lollygag.
No.
We're not going to go back and forth. Okay, we know.
No, we
some
got a
people
lot
in
of
China.
important stuff to talk about.
We
here.
got a lot of important stuff because everybody, they have been calling my phones and saying, Squeeze, we know you've been doing immigration law with Brad Bernstein for like almost 20 years. What's going on with all the laws and the executive orders that President Trump has signed into existence? So I said, you know what? I am going to have a conversation with my best friend, Brad Bernstein. All right? He's an attorney. He's running a law firm that's been around since 1958. I am positive that he has something to say about what Donald Trump has signed in where executive orders are concerned. So everybody that's out there, Brad is going to start in about 120 seconds. And why 120 seconds? I want for you to text, call, let everybody know that Brad is going to give his opinion on what Trump signed into existence. So text somebody. Subscribe, like, follow, whatever it is that you do. Okay, call him on the phone. Tell him to tune in to Brad Bernstein on 93.5 WVIP FM by calling 1-800-LawLink. Or, ladies and gentlemen, simply go on social media, go on Facebook Live, Law Offices of Spar Bernstein, YouTube, Law Offices of Spar Bernstein, Periscope, a.k.a. Twitter, Spar Bernstein, and also on my pages. The Instagram is @LinkUpSqueeze. The Facebook is David Squeeze Annakie. I think they finally got it up. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. It's D-Day for me.
Why is it D-Day?
So, it's just D-Day.
It's not D-Day.
It's D-Day until I hear what you've got
Remember
to say.
that movie? Nothing is over until we decide it's over.
That is so true.
Right?
Nothing is over until we decide it's over.
Correct.
That is true.
Right. My favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. But anyway.
You know what movie that is, Giselle? By the way, SMG's not here. We got Giselle, who's now also SMG. We could call her.
Hello,
We could call her
Giselle.
We could call her SMG, right?
No, I
Social
like
media
Giselle's
girl?
smile. I think Giselle's got the best smile in your office.
She does. And you know what I love about Giselle? Everything
What's
I
that?
say, she laughs at.
That's what I'm saying. She got the best smile in your
She
office.
everything. She's my best audience. Everything I say, she laughs at.
Yeah. Best
All right.
smile.
So she's gonna fill in for SMG, who's in China.
China?
China.
I thought we retired that.
Yeah, oh yes, we retired that. So
What's going on, Brad?
all right. So what's going on? So there's something called an executive order. Now, when we start talking about executive orders, an executive order is something that the president does to enforce or not enforce certain laws that have already been passed. The president of the United States cannot change laws. President of the United States, his job is to enforce laws. So when he gives executive orders, he makes priorities of what laws he wants to enforce and what laws he doesn't want to enforce. I'll give you a perfect example of an executive order. DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, had nothing to do with Congress. It was President Obama writing executive order saying my enforcement priority is going to be that anybody who's here under the age of 16, who was here prior to was it June 2007? A lot of dates you got to remember when you're in immigration law. Prior to June 2007, and who graduated high school and is under 30 in June of 2012, my enforcement priority is going to be that we're not going to enforce the immigration laws on those people. We're going to give them deferred enforced departure, which is a law on the books right now, and that says that the president has the right to choose not to deport certain people in his discretion, and he chose to not deport this entire group of people. So that was deferred action for childhood arrivals, and that was President Obama's executive action. Now, President Obama decided to go one step further. He decided to expand deferred action for childhood arrivals and also make a new category of people he's not going to deport, deferred action for parent arrivals. And what happened was is that now that he has expanded this group, and there were going to be millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people who were going to ultimately get work authorization, the state of Texas sued Obama and said, although you are choosing to enforce laws and you have the right to do that, what you don't have the right to do is choose to enforce laws and give the states what's called an unfunded mandate. An unfunded mandate is an action by the federal government that forces the states to do something, but the federal government's not giving the states money to do it. Unfunded mandate. So the state of Texas sued, a lot of states sued, and a lot of the federal judges said, too bad, government can do what they want. One conservative judge in Texas said no, and the federal government either has to give money to the state of Texas for motor vehicle licenses, hire more people, do more road tests, whatever people they needed to issue driver's licenses, and it was an unfunded mandate and now illegal. And the Republicans were up in arms. How could you make executive orders like this? You know, you have exceeded your authority, et cetera, et cetera. And as everybody knows, it went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court came to a 4-4 tie, and the local federal judge in Texas, his ruling stood. So now Obama is no longer president of the United States. We have a new president, Donald Trump, and who campaigned against executive orders and blah, 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 blah. And what has he done the first 3 days he's been in office is executive order after executive order after executive order. So Donald Trump can't, as we said, change the laws. Now, there are existing laws on the books right now that have been existing for years and years and years and years. Presidents have chosen not to enforce these laws. Certain laws like, if you have criminal offenses, whether you are legal here or not, whether you have a green card or not, there are many criminal offenses that make you a deportable alien. A lot of times, because of enforcement priorities, they don't have enough jails. They don't have enough judges. They don't have enough trial attorneys, which are like the district attorneys in a criminal case. They have chosen to prioritize who should be the criminals that get deported and who should not be, whether you are legal here or not. There is laws on the books that have never been enforced ever that says if you cross a border illegally, you could be charged with a crime, although nobody's ever charged you with a crime. It's always been civil offenses. There are laws on the books that say that if you are illegal in the United States, since it's a civil offense, you should be fined for being here illegally, and for people who assist people here who are illegally, such as Brad Bernstein, the attorney, such as Giselle, The assistant, who is not attorney, she assists people. Squeeze may assist people by helping people.
Yep.
People who
a lot of illegal immigrants.
people who
Yes, I'm gonna get in trouble.
people who employ immigrants who
People
are
who
not
help
legal,
people.
assist them. Maybe somebody who drives them to work and knows that they're illegal, assist them. I don't know. I mean, I would think that, the group of people assisting illegal immigrants in the United States is almost
About everybody.
It's just about everybody.
Food, you're assisting. So if you go to the supermarket, you're assisting.
Well, I don't know. That's a little much because you don't know that they're illegal when they're buying their vegetables. But certainly, there's lots of people who do know that people are out of status and assist them anyway. Maybe not even the immigration lawyer. Maybe the personal injury lawyer who knows that they were working illegally and they got injured in a job and now is assisting them in their personal injury case to assist them to get money for their personal injuries. I don't know. We don't know how far it will expand. I'm certainly ready to fight that one. Okay? So he's made executive orders saying that, we're going to enforce these laws.
In layman's term, what?
So let me,
has Trump said?
I'm going off track here, so, because there's a lot to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing you back.
Thank you very much. But he's made executive orders that says he's going to enforce certain laws. So the laws he's going to enforce are, if you have a criminal record, we are going to put you in deportation.
If you have a green card or if you don't have a green
If you have a green card or you don't have a green card, we're going to put you in deportation.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So the only people
But
who are real
this,
safe
but let me start by saying before we freak everybody out.
Okay.
Okay, this is what he says he's going to do as his enforcement priorities. Okay, there's not enough jails. There's not enough immigration officers. There's a hiring freeze on immigration judges. There's a hiring freeze on trial attorneys. You can say you're going to do all of this, but you need the resources, and resources are not just only people, but facilities. All right? So none of that exists at this moment.
But he says he's going to hire people.
Yes, but don't they have to be trained? Where are they going to get these people? And he also has to hire judges. He has to hire trial attorneys. He has to hire jails and jail guards and not only build a wall, but build a jail and build a jail cell. And, there's a lot of building going on.
So what
Okay,
happens now with the people out there, Brad?
right now, this is just a tough-talking document. Okay, but there's no action behind it at the moment. We're saying this at the moment. So let's go
the
through. Right.
But let me ask you this.
One second. Let me finish first. Okay. So, if you have a criminal offense, you'll be put in deport. I just want to make it clear so before we freak everybody out.
Right.
Okay. What it is, and then what happens if it actually goes into effect. What happens? Okay, they're going to put me in deportation. What the hell happens to me? What should I do? So let me just finish first. Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Finish first.
Thank you very much, and then you can answer all your questions you want.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, if you have if you have a criminal record, if you are illegal here, and you come across a government agency, which could be a police officer, a judge, you get pulled over for a suspended driver's license, deportation. You're jaywalking in the street, deportation. You have a criminal record that goes back from 50 years ago, deportation. Now, two things. There are many, many municipalities, many cities, probably a majority of people, I would say a vast majority of people, that say this is disgusting, terrible. We can use every bad adjective in the world. And as a matter of fact, I just posted something. I saw something on the internet, which is very true. And I'm not saying Trump is Hitler, and I'm not saying this is Nazi Germany. But the Nazis, before they started the Holocaust, did post in newspapers weekly, which is also what Trump. I'm jumping ahead now. I'll get back to Nazis in a second. So there are lots of people who think this is disgusting and horrible and a terrible thing. And in their municipalities, they say, we're not going to comply with this. We're not going to agree to have our police officers hand over somebody who's jaywalking. We're not going to agree to have our police officers arrest somebody for a suspended driver's license and then hold them in jail waiting for immigration to hand them over. First of all, if ever there was, I expect a similar lawsuits against these executive orders that happened with Obama and DACA. But now it's on the opposite side, meaning the federal government's giving states and localities and municipalities unfunded mandates to go hold people in jails that they don't have jail cells for. So now they got to make more jails. They got to have more guards, and they got to process people through the criminal system that they otherwise wouldn't process, and now hold them for immigration. Where's the money to do all of this? It's the same thing as where's the money for the driver's licenses? So I expect those lawsuits to happen too. All right, number one. Number two, Trump already knows those lawsuits are happening. So then he says, well, I'm not going to give, so for example, the city of New York says they're not going to comply. The city of Chicago said they're not going to comply. I know many cities in California said they're not going to comply. San Francisco certainly not going to comply. These are called sanctuary cities, which has a bad connotation, like you're hiding criminals, but really what you're doing is you're keeping families together, and we don't want to deport somebody and rip a family apart because the guy has a suspended driver's license. We don't want to rip families apart because a guy walked across the border 25 years ago and has been working and paying taxes, and now all of a sudden got to leave the country and split families apart. So, I wish they would call it something different than sanctuary city, like keeping family together city. That's a pretty good term to call it. Nevertheless, so Trump has said, well, you know what? If Chicago doesn't clean up their act, we're going to bring in the feds. He said that the other day. If New York doesn't hand over illegal immigrants that they come across, whether it's from jaywalking, then we're going to withhold $8 billion in federal funding. So now there'll be another lawsuit about that. So this is going to be tangled up in lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Maybe we're going to run across police officers. I was talking with Paul Hirsch and David Moreno yesterday, and they were presupposing, what would happen. Maybe police officers won't, like in Chicago. Maybe they may not want to do their jobs as well as they should be doing, as a backlash against this. Maybe police officers will stop somebody and say, you know what, I'm not going to give you a ticket for speeding because I don't want you to be separated from your family. I'm not going to go walk in the streets wherever you want. I'm not arresting anybody to deport them. I'm not sure, how it'll all work out. So we don't know, as lawyers, Brad Bernstein doesn't know how this is going to work out. We don't know how this is going to be enforced. We don't know what the courts are going to do. I can tell you there's going to be a lot of lawsuits, and I'm sure just like the Republicans were very smart to bring lawsuits in very conservative areas with conservative judges to stop the DACA and DAPA, I would assume the Democrats and the liberals and even the moderates would be bringing lawsuits in more liberal jurisdictions where judges will say this is completely out of line and also stop a lot of this as well. Again, I'm presupposing stuff. I haven't seen a lawsuit. I'm just presupposing. We do know this. And this is really what's important. And then I'll talk about Nazi Germany in a second, but maybe it's a stupid analogy, but we'll see. I do know this. I do know that there is a Constitution of the United States. And myself and the attorneys here at Spar Bernstein, as well as the immigration paralegals and every legal professional here at the office, We had a big meeting about it yesterday, and to a person, a man and a woman, we all agreed there's a constitution, and just because you are placed in deportation doesn't mean you get deported. Just means you may have to go through the process. Trump says he's going to put people in deportation who entered the country without inspection. Trump says people who have committed any fraud on any government, whether you used a fake document to come to America, you used a fake Social Security number to work, deported. You've committed a crime. These are all laws on the books, by the way. It's not like he made up new laws. It's just they haven't been enforced. But there's still a constitution. You have rights in deportation. You have rights to beat your deportation case. You have rights to waivers. We win more deportation cases here than we lose, I can tell you that. For people who have relief from deportation, certainly. You can check our Facebook page for all our, those are just a handful of what we do here every day. So just because you're placed in a deportation hearing or a removal hearing doesn't necessarily mean you are going to be deported or you're going to be separated from your family, number one. Number two, even if they wanted to hire more judges. So in this particular executive order, Trump said he's going to hire 10,000 more immigration officers. Well, that's great. You got to hire them, interview them, train them, place them out on the field. So it's like hiring 10,000 more police officers throughout the United States. You still need judges, trial attorneys, jails, and we have a constitution. So people, if he really intends to deport people, these deportation people are going to outlive the deportation process because it's going to be 10, 20 years before they get to all these cases, maybe longer. So a lot of this, I think, is some of it's real, maybe a lot of it's real, but I would also argue maybe a lot of it is a lot of bluster and cosmetics, because you can't do what he intends to do, or if he intends to do it, it's going to be a lot of resources taken away from a lot of other needy people who will be Americans who may be very upset about it. So that's where we're at now. You have a criminal record, you entered the country without inspection, you're working on a fake Social Security number, you are, whether you have a green card or whether you're out of status, you have problems or potential problems. But that doesn't mean you should pack up and leave. That doesn't mean, and if you employ somebody in this type of situation who's out of status, you help somebody who's out of status, such as the immigration lawyer, you're potentially going to be fined millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, I guess I've helped thousands and thousands of people. God knows what my fines will be. I'd like to see him fine me. All right. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But, ultimately, there is a Constitution in the United States. You're entitled to representation. You're entitled to waivers. You're entitled to relief. You're entitled to due process, which is a fair hearing. And ultimately, I believe that good things happen to good people, and good things happen to people who work hard and do the right thing. And ultimately, as Squeeze tells me, this is one of Squeeze's most favorite remarks, this too shall pass. So this too shall pass, but you fight, you don't cower. There's a constitution. And to sum it up, nothing's happened yet. This is just a piece of paper. Absolutely nothing has happened yet. So what should people be doing right now? Right now, you have a criminal record. You should be doing one of two things. Coming into our office as quickly as possible to see if we can vacate those convictions. Maybe now judges will be more sympathetic because of what's happening. Don't know. But it's certainly worthwhile trying. Maybe district attorneys, some more liberal ones or moderate ones, may be more sympathetic. It's worth trying. Maybe you should be filing for your citizenship if you have a green card. It has never been more vital for people to be citizens than at this very moment. Because you're a citizen, you're now a citizen. Can't do nothing. So that's my take, Squeeze. Mr. Squeeze.
Is that it, sir?
That is it.
That's it. Thank you so much for spending 31 minutes on that.
Well,
So
you told me to do it.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, pretty much Trump is executing some laws that's already on the books,
And he says he will be doing it.
and he will be doing it. So
And there will be lawsuits saying that he's not able to do it. There will be sanctuary cities that say we're not going to comply. There will be people who get caught up in deportation, absolutely. Whether or not this goes full force across the country in mass like he claims it will, that's
a whole other story.
a whole
But
other
let me
story.
ask you this. Brad,
Yes,
hypothetical situation right now.
yes.
Let's see a friend of mine, a Jamaican friend of mine, driving in the Bronx, gets stopped by the cops, has a green card, have a couple of criminal convictions. What happens?
Right
now.
now, if he were to get arrested, and New York City, they call themselves a sanctuary city. They do not intend to hand them over to immigration.
Okay.
If at some point a federal judge says New York City, you must do it, I assume New York City will do it. But that's way, 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 way down the line. So today, January 2017, it's as if it was December 2016 or November 2016. Just like I said, nothing has changed yet. It is a piece of paper. But people should see some writing on the wall. Can't be dumb. You can't be dense. You can't stick your head in the sand. You have to do things now, if you can. One of the things you should be doing is coming to see a good lawyer like myself and the other attorneys here at Spar Bernstein, see what you can do to become legal. One of the things you should be doing is if you have a green card, see what you can do to become a citizen. Most importantly, if you have a criminal record, whether you're legal or not, you should be looking to see how you can fix that problem, whether it's becoming a citizen or vacating convictions.
Go on. Keep talking.
You told me to stop. We're already at 9:35.
No.
You want me to keep talking? I could talk forever.
I know you can.
Yes. I'd like you to talk a little bit.
No, I just, I concur with what you're saying, and I don't feel insulted, but I don't think you really got the message across to the people the way I think it should.
You give the
get across
message.
to them.
You give the message. Do you want to?
No.
Do you want to? Do you want to? Oh my God! Ah! Is that
Let me
what I
take
should
the
be
wheel
doing?
for a minute? Let me take the wheel for a
Is
minute.
that what I should be doing?
Let me take the. You mind if I take the wheel?
You take the wheel.
Move over into the passenger.
Giselle is laughing.
Move over into the passenger seat.
I'm in the passenger
Now,
seat
this is what I'm hearing, people.
Uh-huh.
All right? This is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing this by way of Brad indirectly. I'm hearing this by way from Donald Trump indirectly. I'm hearing this by way of you, the listeners, indirectly.
It's not Donald Trump indirectly. It's Donald Trump directly.
Donald Trump directly, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And what I'm hearing here, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 decades, the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, the Link Up Media group of companies, as my friend on Instagram said, the real Wall Street, okay? We have been pounding the airwaves, pounding social media, pounding all conventional means of communication with immigration information, asking you to get into the system, find out if and how you can go about getting a green card, getting a valid work permit, getting your citizenship. Do you know how many times we have received calls on air where people are saying they do not want to become a citizen when most of them can have dual citizenship. Now, if everything that has happened over the past week does not go to your brain and say, hey, you know what? America is the land of opportunity. I have made a life here. I know some of you in the back of your mind is saying, no, I'm going back home, but you're not home back yet. I believe that everyone that is listening to this radio show right now, if there's ever a time that you should become a citizen, it is now. File for your citizenship. Brad said nothing has gone into effect as yet. Do I think it will go into effect? Unfortunately, with this guy they call DT, I believe it will. So what should you do? If I were you, I would stop right now, pull the car over, and understand that Donald Trump has signed some executive orders, some executive actions that could get a lot of you deported. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am saying, pick up your phone, call the law offices of Spar Bernstein. If you're not a citizen, file for your citizenship. There are many of you out there that's green card holders. There are many of you out there who have done absolutely nothing and you're out of status. You haven't tried. You're sitting on your asphalt every day waiting on amnesty. Well, this dude does not look like an amnesty dude, Donald Trump. Pick up your phone right now, and I am going to say, call this number, 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Every one of you out there, this is Squeeze. You've all listened to me for 20 years. You've listened to Brad for 20 years. Stop what you're doing. Donald Trump has signed some executive orders into place. Okay, we don't know when they're going to be enforced, but sooner or later, he's going to push. As you can see, he's pushing everything. Call this number. Ask your questions. Find out what your options are. The number is 1-800-529-5465. And ladies and gentlemen, some of you are saying, no, it's not possible. I can never get in trouble. Sometimes trouble look for you. You don't have to look for trouble. All right? No, my laptop. All right. 1-800-529-5465. Every one of you, if you have an immigration question, today's the day to ask it. We're coming back at 12 noon, but start asking now. 1-800-529-5465. Let me be slow with the number. 1-800-529-5465. Donald Trump says he wants to deport anyone and everyone that's a criminal, that's out of status, or have a green card. It's time for you to get, I almost said a dirty word there. It's time for you to get your TIHS going. All right?
All right.
So right now, make that call. 1-800-529-5465. Become a citizen, ladies and gentlemen. Stop putting it off. Many of you can become a citizen, and you have been putting it off. So make that call.
All right. Let's take some calls.
Yes, go ahead.
Let's take some calls.
Yes, let's take some
Misty's
calls.
been waiting 30 minutes now.
All right.
Misty. Misty.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Sorry for the wait.
It's okay. I'm good.
All right, what's up?
I would like to find out. Here's the situation. I'm living with my sister and her husband, and I'm working with them as a babysitter. So I would like to find out if they could file papers for me and my daughter.
Not really, because you can't be sponsored by a family member.
Oh, okay.
All right, you can't be sponsored in a job by a family member. All right,
Okay.
that wouldn't be allowed. But what I think you should do, Misty, is it sounds like you're somebody who's out of status, and just because I said no, you cannot get sponsored as a babysitter by your sister doesn't mean no, there is no hope for you whatsoever. What I would suggest you do is hold on, make an appointment to come see us, and let's see what other options we may come up with for you. Hold on 1 second, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go to another one. And Brad, if you can just put in a group that thingamajig code.
I did already. Got to look at it. Michael.
Yes, hello. Good morning,
Yes,
sir.
how are you?
I'm fine. If you're on Social Security and disability and you can't work anymore, can you, when you want to file for your citizenship, is there two forms that they give you? One with something called like a waiver or something like that, and the original
Well,
form?
if you earn under the poverty level, you can file a waiver of the filing fee.
Okay, so say you get like $500 and somebody dollars a month, you can file for that?
Yeah, that's under the poverty level if that's all you live on.
Yes, that's all I get.
Yeah. Yes.
Another question to
Yes.
you. If someone comes into the United States and they give them 6 months stay, they stamp the passport for 6 months with a visa, and their plane ticket was like for a month, and they stayed 6 months. Could that be a problem if that person is filing for them?
Who's filing for them?
No, if someone wants to file for them, like
Who's the person who's filing? If they get married to a citizen, then it's not a problem. If it's something else, then it's a different story.
Okay.
All right?
All right, yeah, no problem.
All right.
Okay.
All right, 1-800-529-5465. We're taking calls now on immigration. Call right now on the radio, 1-800-529-5465. We're going to take a whole bunch of calls on the radio. Then we're going to get to Facebook at Law Offices of Spar and Bernstein, Facebook on David Squeeze Annakie, YouTube on Law Offices of Spar and Bernstein, and Periscope, Spar Bernstein, right? No underscore. And we're going to answer all those questions as well. Right now, we're going to be doing radio 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl? Going once?
Yes.
Yes, how are you?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just asking a question. Yes, my husband has been filing for me. However, we went to the interview like 2 times, and they denied the case. Now we have an interview coming up, and he doesn't want to show up with me. So what should I do?
You should come and speak to us for 2 reasons. Number one, if, in the past, when you would file an adjustment application and the spouse didn't show up and you got denied, no big deal. They would leave you alone. Now there's different enforcement priorities. You've come across their path. You're out of status. I don't know what they're going to do moving forward, but you should certainly come in to see what other options you have. All right, so hold on 1 second.
1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. All right, let's go to another call.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I filed for my mother, and she came up last September. And it happens that 2 weeks after she came up, we moved. And I went online and I updated the address, the new address, and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so what happened? I didn't see it come in the mail, and I was assuming that I had to wait the 120 days to contact them or whatever. So I did that. I waited all this time, but when I finally found out that they mailed it to my old address.
So you never got the green card for your mom, basically, right?
Yes, basically,
okay.
yes.
So you got it. Unfortunately, if it was mailed out and it's mailed out, if they mailed it to the wrong address and you can prove that you gave a new address, they should produce a new one free of charge. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay the filing fee. But you got to do a new I-90.
And how much is that?
It was $450.
Oh my God!
And now
Are you
it
serious?
is 1 second. It's a good welcoming to America to your mom. Everything costs money
Oh
here.
my God!
So now it's $455 plus. How old's your mom?
She's 57.
Yeah, so she has the fingerprint still. $455 plus 85. So that is $540.
So I have to pay all this because the mailman is an idiot. Because we did all the forwarding and I went online.
Yes, because the mailman is an idiot. You have to pay it again.
So how would I try to prove that because I
You have to. It's not about updating with the mailman. It's about updating with the immigration service.
Right. So
if you did
it in the system.
All right.
So I don't know.
So did you download? Did you make photos? Did you take a screenshot of what you did? Did they send you a notification saying we've updated your address?
I don't think so.
All right. So then there's no proof that you ever did it. So you got to pay it again.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Jesus Christ. All right. Thanks.
1-800-529-5465. Dennis.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I got 2 quick questions.
Yes.
I sponsor my wife, and she have an I-130 approval. Would that be a problem for her if she gets stopped on the road? Let's say with this new thing that Donald Trump put in place. Would that be a problem?
Assuming it goes into effect, which it has not gone into effect yet. And you're a resident or you're a citizen?
No, I'm a citizen.
Okay, so why are you not adjusting her status? She entered without inspection?
Yeah, she entered without inspection. We're trying to do the provisional waiver right now. Yes.
Okay, all right, so here's a perfect example. Let's assume you filed for your spouse, she's in process, and you're not in New York anymore, she's driving in Alabama, which I assume will not be a sanctuary area. And she's driving in Alabama, and you got this, guy in Alabama, pulls her over, out of status, we're sending you to the immigration. Okay? She's entitled to bail and a bond. Okay? So you would pay a bond. She's not going to sit in jail because she's not a criminal. Okay? Number one. Number two, but if you hired me, we would be going to the immigration judge on the first hearing and say, let's terminate the deportation. We're doing a provisional waiver. She's going to go home and come back, and the case will be terminated. So in her case, can she go through the process? Absolutely. Will anything bad happen to her? No. Is it a pain in the ass? Absolutely. Is it really enforcing laws on the wrong people? Absolutely. Is it the wrong priorities for Donald Trump, what he's doing? Absolutely. Is he making people's lives miserable that shouldn't otherwise be miserable? Absolutely. Okay? But for many, many people, just like your wife and many others, it's more of a process that, because there's Constitution, there's entitlement to bond, there's entitlement to paying a bail, there's entitlement to relief from deportation. So in your wife's particular case, I wouldn't overly worry about it. And, that's not to say immigration won't trip over her, but I wouldn't overly worry about it. Certainly in the New York area right now, they're not doing any of that.
Okay, all right, thank you. One more quick question.
Yes.
My sister-in-law went to do her citizenship, and she misspelled 2 letters.
So she failed the English test. She failed the English
it
test.
twice. Yeah, she failed it twice.
Right.
And she received her letter saying that they denied of N400 application.
How old
Does
is
she
she?
have to do that all over again?
Yes. How old is
She
she?
is 58.
How long has she had a green card?
About 7 years now, 7 or 8 years.
Okay. Yeah, she has to do it again or wait till she's 15 years here as a green card holder, and then she doesn't have to take the English test.
Okay, so that 4 set of money that she spent is out the window. It's done.
Correct. Do it again.
Okay. All right, no problem. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
1-800-LawLink. That's 1-800-529-5465. Brad Bernstein, the attorney. Yours truly, Squeeze. We're here. Don't forget to check out the law offices of Spar Bernstein's Facebook. All right? And also, of course, YouTube. That's the name, Law Offices of Spar Bernstein. Don't forget Periscope, Spar Bernstein. All right, Brad, ready for another call?
We're going to do one more call, and then we'll do 2 more calls, and then we'll stay on a little later to do all of the social media. Is that okay, Squeeze? Because we have about 10 minutes, okay? All right. So social media people, even though we're going to be off the radio at 10 o'clock, we're going to stay a little later to answer all your questions as well. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Now's the time to ask your questions. Now's the time to make a comment. Now's the time to give a thumbs up, laugh. Well, there's nothing to laugh about today. A happy face, a share, whatever it is. We're coming to you in about 3 minutes or so. Let's go to Al. We'll take 2 more calls on the radio. Al.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to ask a question. Can a permanent resident file on my daughter who's over 21 years of age?
Absolutely.
How long would that take?
7 years.
Okay.
All right.
I got to tell my sister that. All right. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Paulette. Okay. Paulette. What happened to Paulette? Paulette? Let's try Paulette one more time. Paulette. All right. No more Paulette. All right. Squeeze.
Yeah.
Do you want our guest social media person to start, or do you want Squeeze to start?
I want Smiles to ask the question.
You want Smiles to ask the
questions. I don't have any on my side. I've been having some challenges.
Sure. Okay. All right. So let's go.
Our master computer died.
You have to turn on your mic. Okay, media training here. Turn the mic on.
Good morning,
Giselle,
gentlemen.
welcome to the LawLink.
Welcome to the LawLink.
Welcome. Thank you. Okay, so I have a comment actually from Ludi Spence stating, what's the sense of building a wall when people are now digging tunnels and more than 60% of illegal aliens came here on a plane, walked through our airports? The wall would cost $25 billion and at least $3 billion a year to maintain.
Correct. Next. She's 100% right. Next.
She's right.
Okay.
I concur.
I concur.
Okay.
All right.
Sharon Ramcharan asks, my husband is a green card holder. Can he file for me?
Yes.
Okay. John Stevens is asking, Brad, I overheard you saying a child of a green card holder can stay in America and adjust status. However, there are instances where the I-130 is approved, but USCIS says the child cannot adjust status in the United States, and the document has been sent to NVC. Can you explain why the child cannot adjust, and should this person, who is now 18, apply for a provisional waiver? Is the person now supposed to leave the country? What's the cost in your law firm to do a provisional waiver?
All right. I have answers for you, John Stevens. Number one, in order to adjust, you have to have a legal entry into America. So even though you're a child, if you entered without inspection, you're ineligible to adjust unless you're 245I. So the first thing we should be looking at is maybe the child's 245I. You never know. Okay. Number two, if the child's been here since 2007, they would be able to get DACA. And then if they turned 18, they would be in lawful status here. They would still have to go back home, but wouldn't need a provisional waiver because they've been in lawful status. If they leave the United States within 180 days of their 18th birthday, they also don't need a provisional waiver because unlawful status only happens 180 days after your 18th birthday. So the answer is, unless they're 245I or unless they made a legal entry, yes, they have to go home. There's plenty of ways to do it, that they go home and come back within a week or two. Did I answer John Stevens' question, Giselle? You're looking at me strangely.
No, you did.
Okay, what else you got, Giselle?
Isaris Velez asks, can I file for a work visa for someone? What if I don't own a business?
No.
If so, how do I apply?
There's no such thing as apply for a work visa for your friend. Okay. What about, are we going to be answering YouTube questions, or we're not doing that? We are not doing that today. So anybody who is watching on YouTube, because SMG is not here, we didn't get the equipment set up. We kind of screwed up today. All right, so we'll get it all fixed for the 12 o'clock show. But anybody who is on YouTube, what about Periscope and Twitter? Are we going to be answering questions on Periscope and Twitter? No. Wonderful. Squeeze. This was a fantastic training by SMG of this new group here. Okay, he told me when he left at 3, everything's under control. Okay.
Fabulous.
Okay, so if you're watching on Periscope and Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, just go over to Facebook right now, or we're going to figure out how to get your questions answered on the 12 o'clock hour. Okay.
Yep.
Tammy Silva's question is, do you think they may reopen 245I?
No time soon.
Okay. Pierre Buchamps asks, good morning, Mr. Brad and Mr. Squeeze. I came to U.S. legally in 1980, convicted of a misdemeanor in 1989, got probation, convicted felony 1994, prison until 1996. Bonded from INS, came out, INS took away my old green card, 2002 got a waiver, and a new 10-year green card in 2002. Married to a U.S. citizen since 1993, 2 adult children, worked and paid taxes. Can I become a citizen? Don't forget, gun possession is considered an aggravated felony, or am I barred from being a citizen?
Gun possession is not an aggravated felony, so I didn't forget. That's actually wrong. Okay. Number 2, you have a waiver, so Trump can't do anything to you anyway because you already got a waiver. If you don't have any aggravated felonies after November 1990, and I don't know about he had a bunch of other convictions too, so... But if he doesn't have any aggravated felonies after 1990, and he has 5 years good moral character now, he has his waiver, we should be filing his citizenship immediately. And he's married to a citizen, so he really only needs 3 years good moral character.
Samantha Sharma asks, if you have a case, can he deport you still?
I don't know what that means. Next. If you have a case, if you have a criminal case?
Pending case.
Yes. The answer is okay? There's a difference between can he deport you and can he place you in deportation. Being placed in deportation is not deporting you. That's saying you got to go see a judge, and then you fight it out. And what Donald Trump said is if you have been convicted of a criminal offense, if you have been charged with a criminal offense, if you have engaged in fraud or willful misrepresentation in connection with anything with the U.S. government, whether it's Social Security or immigration, whether you have abused receipts of public benefits, you've gotten public benefits that you otherwise shouldn't have gotten, whether you pose a risk to public safety, which basically encompasses the entire anybody's discretion to put anybody in deportation. So the answer is yes. Next.
Okay, Sharon Ramcharan actually has a follow-up with if her husband, who's a green card holder, can file for her. She says, how long would it take?
2 years.
Okay. John Stevens has a follow-up question asking, what is 245I, the child entered legally?
245I means that you were in the system and had an approvable case filed, whether it was in a family-based or employment-based, whether you yourself or you were a derivative beneficiary on an employment or a family-based petition, filed before April 30th, 2001, and you were physically here on December 2000, or you had something in the system before January 14th, 1998. Most likely, if the child is 18, it would have had to have been like when she was a baby. She had to have been born before 2001 to actually even qualify. So we're almost coming to the end of children qualifying for 245I, because we're now 2017 already. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tonya McCoy asks, my husband is a green card holder and it expires in July. Does he have to renew his green card even though he will be going for his citizenship?
No.
1-800-LawLink. Let me just slip that in there.
Yes. So right now we're going to be coming up. Do we have any more questions? You see, I wish I had equipment here, where SMG gave you the equipment to read off the Periscope and YouTube, and we don't. So I don't have it logged on here on my desk, so I can't run off and do it right now. So for the people on Periscope and YouTube, my apologies. SMG will get a tongue lashing when I speak to him when he lands in China. We will figure this out at 12 o'clock.
You sound like you want to give him one.
Yes, we will figure this out at 12 o'clock, I promise you. We are done with our questions on Facebook. People who are on hold on the radio, my apologies. We're going to be back at 12 to answer more immigration questions. It's so vital to do something now, not hide your head in the sand. You've heard it time and time again. We can't stress it enough. If you have a criminal record, do something about it. Become a citizen. Try to vacate your conviction. If you're out of status, do something about it. Try to get a green card. If you have a green card and you're here right now and everything is cool, become a citizen anyway. And we'll talk about the posting of people's criminal records and how that relates to Nazi Germany at the 12 o'clock hour. I never got a chance to talk about it. But we got to do this now. We'll be back at 12.
The proceeding was informational only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easily remembered, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LawLink. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And, of course, link up with the law offices of Spar Bernstein located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LawLink. That's 1-800-529-5465.